You know, we all have that picture in our heads, right? The majestic lion, the undisputed king of the savannah. But what if I told you that whole image is basically a fairy tale? We're about to dive into the brutal reality of what it really means to wear that crown. So, really, think about it. You think being the king is easy? Just lounging around, top of the food chain, a total walk in the park? Well, let's just see about that. We're going to put you to the test. Okay, so forget everything you've seen in the movies. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to drop you right into the middle of the savannah. From now on, you are a brand new lion cub. And believe me, your story doesn't start with some triumphant roar. It starts with a tiny, terrified gasp. Your journey starts at the absolute bottom. You're not some prince waiting for a throne. You're just a fragile little creature in a world that, frankly, wants to eat you. I mean, your vulnerability is absolute. You're born completely blind, completely deaf. You're so tiny, a meerkat could probably shove you around. And yeah, your mother hides you in a den, but she's got to eat, right? She has to go hunt, which means you and your siblings are left totally alone, basically a perfect, helpless little snack for any hyena that happens to wander by. Seriously, at this point, survival is just pure dumb luck. But if you manage to survive those first terrifying days, things do start to change. At 1 week old, the world finally stops being a silent, dark blur. A few weeks later, you're stumbling around the cave like a tiny, drunk tourist. And then, at 6 weeks, it's the big day. You leave the den and get introduced to the brutal, chaotic, but also protective world of your pride. And let me tell you, life in the pride is a total paradox. On one hand, it's kind of like a commune. Any lioness will let you nurse, and your whole day is spent play fighting, which is actually super important combat training. But on the other hand, the hierarchy is absolutely unforgiving. When there's a kill, the big adult males eat first, then the lionesses. You and the other cubs, you have to scrap and fight for whatever's left over. So you're learning the rules, you're getting stronger, you're adapting, you're starting to feel safe. But that feeling of safety, well, it's an illusion, and it's about to be completely shattered. One day, the whole feeling in the air just shifts. Your father and your uncles, the leaders of the pride, they're not woken up by hunger. They're woken up by a threat. A new group of males, dark-maned, powerful, and super ambitious. They just appear on the horizon. And they're here for one thing and one thing only: a hostile takeover. What happens next is just pure chaos, a ferocious battle that literally shakes the ground. This is a fight for territory, for mates, for survival itself. And you can see it. The tide is turning against your family. This is the moment your entire world ends. You and the other cubs are just frozen in terror, watching the lions who protected you your whole life get overwhelmed and killed. When the dust finally settles, the kings are dead. Your mother shoves you, hard, forcing you to move. The new males have one last piece of business to attend to, wiping out the old bloodline, and that means you. Some of your brothers and sisters, they don't hide well enough. You just hold your breath, hidden as the new kings patrol their new territory. And then, when you get the chance, you run for your life. You are now a refugee. You and the other cub survivors, you become nomads. And forget about feasting on zebra. Your meals are now rodents, lizards, snakes, pretty much anything you can catch. You learn to hunt, sure, but you also learn to run. Because the second you make a catch, you can bet hyenas are going to show up to steal it. Life is lean, it's hard, and it is absolutely terrifying. 5 years go by. 5 years of just surviving on the fringes. But you're not that helpless, terrified cub anymore. No, you are a full-grown lion. You're powerful, you're scarred, and you're hungry for a lot more than just lizards. You are ready to take back what you lost. But here's the thing, you're not doing this alone. You and your band of exiled brothers, you form a coalition. And your strategy, it is cold, it is efficient. You find a pride with old, weak leaders. Then you launch a ferocious, coordinated attack. And once you've won, well, you complete the cycle. You hunt down the cubs of the lion you just defeated. It's brutal, but it's how you make sure only your bloodline survives. You've done it. The territory is yours. The lionesses are yours. The brutal, bloody business is over. And in a twisted way, you've become the very thing that destroyed your family all those years ago. You are the king. So you can finally relax now, right? Spend your days napping under a nice shady tree? Yeah, not exactly. The crown is a lot heavier than it looks. Oh, the perks are real, don't get me wrong. You eat first every single time. The lionesses are all yours. You can literally sleep for 20 hours a day if you want. But the price for all that is steep. Every single day requires constant vigilance, always watching for rival males who are just like you used to be. And here's the cruelest twist. When your own sons start to get big and look like a threat, you'll be the one to drive them out, into the exact same exile you once endured. The years go by. Years of fighting, eating, patrolling. But you know what? Time is undefeated. Around age 13, you start to feel it. All those battles, they've worn you down. You're a little slower, a little weaker. The end is coming, and you can feel it in your bones. You fought your way to the top. You fought like hell to stay there, but no king rules forever. And that violent cycle you started all those years ago, it's coming back around for you. And then one day, there they are, a new coalition of younger, stronger males on the horizon. They look just like you did. They see an old, weak leader ripe for the taking. And as your own cubs watch from a distance, frozen in fear just like you were, the battle for the pride begins all over again. Only this time, you're the one who's about to fall. You're defeated, but they let you limp away into exile. You're an outcast once more. But this time is different. For years, you let the lionesses do the hunting. Your own skills are rusty. You're old. You try to hunt gazelles, but you're just too slow. You actually manage to catch a boar, but a pack of hyenas, the same creatures you used to terrorize, they just easily chase you off and steal it. You are failing over and over again. 2. That's the number. That's how many weeks it has been since you've had a real meal. 2 solid weeks of agonizing hunger, just getting weaker and weaker by the hour. Your reign didn't end in some blaze of glory. It ends like this, all alone, starving, too weak to even try to hunt anymore. The great king just dying quietly under a tree. This is how your story ends. So I gotta ask, was he ever really a king, living this incredible life of power and luxury? Or was he just one violent turn in a brutal, unforgiving cycle, destined to rise and fall just like every other lion before and after him? What do you think?